Hello, my name is Yeji, otherwise known as ANdmadeco here on YouTube and on Instagram. Today I wanted to go over my December makes as well as show you my works in progress and talk about my acquisitions and some 2025 plans at the end of the video. First, for the items I've already talked about in December, I will list out the pattern name as well as the designer and refer you to the episode in which I talk about the item in more detail. And if you're interested, you can go check it out there. And so we'll get started with what I'm currently wearing, which is Northern Augustins No. 6 by Anne-Sophie Velling. And you can find the information all about this sweater in episode 10. I have to say that I've been loving my Northern Augustins No. 6 and I've been wearing it constantly, especially throughout the season. Today will probably be the last day I wear it for the year until I bring it out again in November. And this is super Gen Z, I think, and I'm a millennial, but I have been liking wearing it with a red bow at the back to match the red bow in the sweater. I think it's very cute. And so we'll see if that trend continues into next year. And then in episode 11, I talk about the Cozy Mitts by Alicia Plummer, and she has not yet released a pattern, but I expect that it'll be released soon. And I was also able to gift this year, actually, to Stella, milk enthusiast's aunt. I think she's giving it to. She said her aunt would appreciate a fingerless mitt, so I gave it to her, which is perfect for me. And I also made another Gnicole from the Gnomes of Grimblewood book by Sarah Shira. And this one I made extra big for my sister's grandma-in-law. And then in episode 12, I talk all about the Dream Vest by Fast Nets. And this was requested by my younger sister, so I made it for her, as well as a Twisted Affair by Joji Locatelli that I've made for my sister's mother-in-law. Now we'll get into my newly finished items for the week. And the first item is the Tiilda Hat by Anise Singh. This is a free pattern on Ravelry, so you're able to check it out. I made mine with a US 13, which is a 9mm needle, because I used a super bulky yarn. And the yarn I used is Cascade Magnum in 9549. And on Ravelry, it says it's just gray, but when I searched it up online, it came up as koala bear. So I'll just stick with what Ravelry says, which is gray, and this is 9549 if you are interested in this color. And this is a very true gray. The Cascade Magnum comes in a huge 250-gram hank, and I used just over 200 grams for this hat. I casted on 60 stitches with just a long tail cast on because I tried the German twisted cast on and it became a little too bulky at the end because of the extra fabric that I created to make it very stretchy. And this hat doesn't really need it. Even with 60 stitches, this is very large. So the chunky hat that I made before, the Tiilda hat I made for my mom, I also cast on 60, but that one wasn't a super bulky yarn. It was a more chunky yarn. So maybe just the bulky yarn. The original pattern is for a bulky yarn, but you knit it at a 5mm or a 6mm needle. And so I took out a complete repeat of the cable pattern for this hat to fit the super bulky yarn that I have. This will be a gift for my dad, and he has a bigger head than I do. He's one of the only people probably that has a bigger head than I do. So I'm sure that it'll fit his head. And if not, then my mom will take it. And you can either wear this, I think, with the brim down and it being quite pointy and having quite a bit of positive ease at the top, or have it folded down and have it closer fitting to the head. So I'm really excited to have finished this. This was a really quick knit. It only took me a day to do with me not having to do that many repeats of the cable pattern and there not being a ton of stitches since the yarn was just so large. I definitely recommend the Tiilda Hat pattern. It truly is very beautiful. I did do one other modification other than the stitches and making it shorter, which is that I didn't cable every other row in the small cables just because my yarn again was too chunky for it to be comfortable to do it. And while doing the cables, it was quite tight. Usually I don't use a cable needle just because I'm lazy, but for this one I really did because of how tight the stitches were on the needle. I have since blocked this hat and it's ready to be gifted. Before, I know my parents watch my videos, which is really nice since they are all the way on the other side of the world. But before I said that they would get it when they come in June, but we're actually planning on going to see them in March, but I might even send it before then, I'm not sure. My next finished object is a pair of mittens, and I didn't expect to cast it on so fast, but I casted it on December 24th and couldn't stop and finished on the 26th, and that is Alma by Maya Akerstrom. And these mittens are just so beautiful. I love the detailed color work of the flower motif on these. It's my first time making a pair of the Selbu style mittens, and I really like it. I think the reason I haven't really made a lot of accessories is just because I personally don't wear them that often. But I showed these to my mom, and she said that she would love to have them, so I'll probably be sending these off as well. This I made with Queensland Collection Falkland Chunky in alabaster and iron, and I showed this as an acquisition from last week. So in last week's video, I had the Cascade Magnum as well as the Queensland Collection Falkland Chunky. I'm so happy to be using a yarn as I get it, and so this was a really very happy knit. I used around 70 grams of the alabaster colorway for both of these mittens, as well as 80 grams of the iron colorway. And so for me, the ratio of iron to alabaster that I used in the mittens were pretty even, because I know that last week I mentioned that Stella made the Alma mittens, which is what drew me to them, and I wanted to make them as well. And I think she used a lot more of one colorway than the other in one mitten. So in the next mitten, she had to invert the colors. And since she's talked about it, I've seen it everywhere. So I saw Florence, Handmade by Florence's video talking about the Alma mittens, as well as the Young Folk Knits video about it. And I think that's what drew me to cast it on so quickly. I didn't do any Latvian braids or anything. I followed the pattern exactly in these first pairs, except for one minor modification I made. And the thumbs and everything are just so pretty. I love how the thumb has the stripe going all the way, except the gusset is slightly different in its increases compared to the main body. I think it just adds in a new look. And my first mitten is slightly looser than my second, and this is a very dense fabric. The only thing I changed about it is that I used a US 2, a 2.75 millimeter needle to make these mittens. And because it is chunky weight yarn, which I think the yarn comes in at 131 yards per 120 grams. So it's almost a yard per gram. It made for a very, very, very dense fabric. There's no wind getting into this, which is why my mom said that she'd take it and she'd use it on her hikes in the trails behind her house. So my left hand is slightly tighter than my right hand, and the left hand is the second one that I did. So I guess my tension was just a little tighter there, but I think they fit well, and I don't think I'll have to block it. So she can choose to block it if she wants, but I don't think these need to be blocked. The pattern calls for the mittens to be knit on either 3mm or a 3.5mm needle, which is either a US 2.5, which doesn't come in the original Chagu interchangeable case, or on a US 4. And so I first tried knitting it on a US 3, a 3.25mm needle, but when I tried it on, it was quite loose, and so that's why I went down all the way to a US 2, which is a 2.75mm needle. So knitting with a chunky yarn on the super thin needles just meant that my fabric was dense, and although I was enjoying the color work, my hands did end up cramping up by the end of the second one, which is maybe why my gauge is a little tighter. But I think the results of these mittens are so stunning, and I definitely see myself making more mittens in the future. My third finished object I just finished this morning, so I have yet to block, and that is the Cassia Hat by Skeinny Dippin. And she spelled like a skein of yarn, so Skeinny Dippin maybe. I think her name is Alex, and this is a test knit. It's coming out in the middle to the end of January, and the hat is so cute. This is a baby-sized hat, which is why I was able to finish it so quickly. My baby's currently almost 9 months and it fits her head really well. The only thing is that I made the brim a little shorter than what's in the pattern, but that's very adjustable. And the rest I followed exactly. My straps here are twisting, so I just have to block this out. But other than that, I think that it's so cute. I made this with a US 9, a 5.5 millimeter needle as recommended in the pattern. And again, I used the Queensland Collection Falkland Chunky in the color Alabaster as well as Iron. And I used the rest of the skeins, so this hat really didn't take that much yarn. So in total, I think only 80 yards went into this entire hat. I used around 30 grams for the iron as well as 31 for the alabaster, and that was everything I had. So I was so happy to be able to use up what I had. My child currently keeps on trying to take this off, but I'm hoping that when I put it on her and she's outdoors, then it'll be cold enough for her and she'll have more to look at. And she'll be distracted enough for her to keep this on. So that was everything I finished and made in the month of December. And now we'll move on to works in progress. So I only have one work in progress again to show, and that is still my Un Sweater by Ane Fiskum Sundae. And I'm pretty sure it's pronounced Un Sweater now just because I looked at the Korean pattern and it's written as Un there and not Yoon. So I'll be referring it to as Un Sweater now. This is how much I have of the sweater completed, and so I have just split for the sleeves. I am making the sweater out of Juniper Moon Santa Cruz in the color Cornflower, and I am sizing up a needle size from what's recommended in the pattern. So I am using a US 9 of 5.5 millimeter for the body and a US 8 of 5 millimeter for the ribbing. I also just folded down the collar with the long tail cast on that I had, and it wasn't enough, so it's looking a little sloppy, but I'll be sure to whip it down. I am enjoying the process of this so far. So I have this much of my second skein of yarn left, and so I'll finish up the body with this. I'll measure how long it is and see if I want to start the slits then or if I want to wait a little bit and do a little bit more stockinette before I start making the 2x2 really high slit hem. And I think before then, maybe I'll do the sleeves first because now I have 4 balls after this of this yarn. And so I want to make sure that my sleeves are long enough for the sweater, especially how this sweater likes. For some sweaters, I would rather have a more cropped arm and a longer body if I think I might run out of yarn. For others, I'd rather have a shorter body as well as longer sleeves. And I think this one looks better with longer sleeves, just in my opinion. And my sleeves, even with longer sleeves, aren't super long because I don't like my sleeves coming all the way up to my knuckles. The longest I would really go for is just to the base of my thumb. I am calling it right now, but I think if it was any other month, I would try to finish this by the end of December. Currently, it is the 27th, and so I have 4 days to complete it. If I was to try to really make it in December and have this be the last finished object of the month, but I think I'm going to take my time and finish and let myself finish this in January because I am also working on another test knit that the previous one, which I couldn't show, and so I need to really get more progress on that. One of the other test knits I was also able to complete, but of course I'll share more information about that when I'm able to in, I guess, in the coming year in 2025. Yeah, all I can really say is I'm really enjoying this. I think it's flying by in terms of how much I worked on it versus how much progress gets done on it because it's knit at such a large needle. And I am excited to have this for the new year. So the end sweater is my current only work in progress, and I am excited to see what other things I am able to finish in the month of January. I think by next week I'll probably only have the sweater to show, but that'll be exciting to also talk about. I am making it in a size 2 as well, if I haven't mentioned, and that's because I sized up a needle size. It's already a pretty oversized sweater, so I think it'll be fine. I want to take this time to talk about the 2024 recap videos that I've also made in December. So I did what I spent on my knitting in 2024, as well as what I made, all of the accessories and garments. And I just put out a video about organizing my entire yarn collection. I did a whole reorganization. So if you are interested, please watch the videos. And also thank you for watching the videos and subscribing. I have noticed an uptick in subscribers since all of the recaps started coming out. So thank you a lot for that. I think then that wraps up the 2024 recap series where I'm posting 2 videos a week. And starting in 2025, I'll probably be resuming my 1 video a week. And if I do have anything special, like if I have 2025 goals in knitting that I want to talk about, then I'll attach it to the end of an episode because I don't think it warrants a whole video on its own for the goals that I have, which is not a lot. And so thank you again. And just getting back to the organization video. So I filmed my acquisition portion of the video yesterday before I did the organization of everything so that all of the yarn had a place to go to in the storage. And I will insert that clip now. Hi, it's Yeji from the past. I'm just going to be filming the acquisition portion first because I'm about to start filming for the yarn organization video and I wanted to make sure that there's room for my new acquisitions into my organizations. But I also wanted to showcase the things that I got for Christmas as well as because most of these are small businesses, just show what I received as well as what I asked for. The first thing I received was a surprise. This was just on my general wish list and my husband decided to get it for me. And it is from fluff.ca. They're not knitting related. They're actually a lunch bag company. It's a Canadian company and they are focused on being sustainable. And so you can find all of the information for that on their website. But I did receive, I think this is called a traveler organizer, and it has these chunky zippers and a handle, and it's perfect for storing your projects, and it's even lined on the inside with the nylon because they're for like, you know, your makeup bags, your lunch bags, things like that. So I thought it'd be perfect when I think I saw their ad on Instagram or something, which is how I first discovered them. This is pink with tomatoes and blueberries on it. The second thing I got from Fluff from my husband is this lunch bag organizer with toast on it. And he got this one specifically because I have a keychain with a toast on it from Jellycat and that was from my best friend. So I think I can just clip it on here and it'd be super cute. And this also has a pocket inside on the side here with the chunky zipper again. And it's lined with nylon. So I think these would be perfect for storing my projects and I'm excited to use these. Next, I got some stitch markers in my stockings and I wanted to show them. So this is dotandhelen.etsy.com and you could also find it at Tea Cozy. So some stitch markers here, and she also had a couple of gnome stitch markers and you know how I've been into gnomes, so I thought this was perfect. As soon as the Tea Cozy Yarn Shop showed off this in their Instagram, I made my husband go get it and he said that he had already got these stitch markers for me before he even saw the gnomes or he got the gnomes, so he made a couple different trips, but it's okay. Next, Woolberry also had their Naughty or Nice game sets that you could get, and I asked my husband for one, and he ended up getting me two, so I got both the Naughty and the Nice. So first, this is the Nice set, and this is called You're on the Nice List Very Cozy Sock Set. It's 80% superwash merino and 20% nylon. These are the colors. There are some dark green speckles in the pink, and otherwise it's a dark red contrast color, as well as You're a Mean One. This is for the Naughty, and it's a nice green, so more of a Grinch green with a little bit of red in it, as well as a minty light blue contrast color. So I'm excited to use these. I'm sure they will become socks probably, and I want to keep the contrast colors with the main colors, but we'll see what happens with these. I'm so excited to have this. And this just came on December 24th, so I'm happy that it got to me on time and I was able to open it on Christmas. I think I mentioned this in the previous video, but also on my wish list, I put the mystery sock set skein from Woolberry, and so this is what came. Is the berry sock, and this is, I would say, like a mauvey pink with purple, really dark purple, almost black speckles in it. And there are 4 skeins, 80% superwash BFL, 20% nylon, 400 yards per 100 grams. So I'm not sure exactly what this will become yet, but I'm excited to have it. And because there are 4 skeins, there are so many possibilities. Because it is a fingering weight yarn, I could either use a single or double it up, and we'll see what happens. The next 2 items are both yarn, but I didn't get for Christmas, but it did come on December 24th, and this was from Colorado Knitter D-Stash. If you watch Colorado Knitter's YouTube videos or you follow her on Instagram, she has a D-Stash page, and she was selling these 2 yarns. So this is Mustache Yarns, and it's a perfect mustache must-match set. This is purple skein, and it is just a 75-25. And so I'm excited. I think when you separate it, then you get 2 of the same exact socks. And I think they will be striping based on how it looks, but I'm not 100% sure what it'll look like. And she was also selling this, which is from Les Garçons, and it is their BFL sock in Mysterious Birds of Paradise. And this is also 80% superwash BFL, 20% nylon, just like the Woolberry Berry Sock Berry Cozy Base. And it comes with the mini in green hibiscus. And it also comes with a small hibiscus flower, which is very cute. 2 last things I got was just a knitting projects journal so that I could just log my projects in it. I'll start using it from 2025. I think my sister got this off of Amazon. I put it on my stocking stuffer wish list, so she got this for me. And this last thing is super exciting. This is the 5 to 6 organizer bag, and this organizes all of your needles. So I put in both my ChiaoGoo 4-inch interchangeable set as well as my Forte and my fixed circulars in the middle, and then I have all of my red lace cables in the pockets. So this is what it looks like. I'm not sure if you could see that inside with all of the needles in it, but I'm so happy to have this because then all of my needles will be in one case instead of having 2 separate cases. I never ended up going for my Fortes because I was so used to using my interchangeable needles, but with this, I'll have all of my needles in one place, or all my favorite needles in one place. So I'm so excited to be able to use this on a daily basis. And now we'll roll back into present day. Welcome back. Thank you so much for watching, and that wraps up the video. Just in general, thank you so much for subscribing, liking, your kind words on both my Instagram as well as YouTube during this past year. It has meant a lot to me, and I foresee myself making these videos into 2025. And so I'll see you in the new year. I wish you all a happy new year, and I am very excited to see what we will all get up to and what changes will happen in 2025. Thank you again so much for watching. If you've gotten this far, please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next week in the new year in 2025. Bye.